harvesting. My second load going in the wagon right now. Give it some gravel. Second load going in the wagon. About, I don't know, a little less than halfway done with this field. Brought the combine down here this morning. Till like 6 o'clock. We didn't have any traffic behind us going down the main drag. Combine's running good. I went through it yesterday, greased it, checked the oil in it, blew chains up, all that. So the combine's running good, knock on wood. We did spring a leak in some of the tin underneath with one of the auger tubes. TJ went to go get some duct tape, so just unloading this while I'm waiting. The unload auger on that one there snapped in half on the way over here, bouncing around. When I bought this wagon, I knew the tube was bad on it, but bouncing around, it just totally cracked in half pretty much. I do have a new auger for it, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it on. I should just put it on. I don't know if it's any longer than this one. It might be shorter, but before I had bought that, I was actually planning on getting some like Schedule 80 PVC pipe, 6-inch, and then just taking getting rid of the tube and then putting that in and then running the auger down through that and then basically mount the motor on the end of the pipe. I might still do that. It'd be nice to have another auger to unload like these wagons here. But I don't know, we'll play it by ear. If I can get everything in this wagon, I'm gonna do it. We just tested this corn. We're at 21%, between 20 and 21%, which is probably the driest I've harvested it without drying it before, like after the fact. So I'd still like it a little bit wetter, but if I can get everything in this one wagon, which I mean possibly, I doubt it, but maybe, I'd like to run both screw and aeration fans in it and see if I can get that down to 15. I don't think so. Probably have one more load in this thing and then we're gonna call it, I would imagine. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, the metal's getting thin on this thing. That is for damn sure. So, throw some duct tape on there, but the plan was this, fall before we started harvesting. I wanted to go through and patch everything up, but the issue I have with the brakes, I never got around to it. So as long as we can get through this field here, it'll be a while till we get to harvest my other field there. So I can go through and patch everything up. It's got to get patched. At least for the time being, get all the bad stuff, and then all the tubes and stuff duct taped, all that there. Pretty much all underneath over there. I'd love to cut all that out and put new tubing in there. Like, a new panel will be done with it. But not sure where we're at though. Like I said, we're probably, I don't know, about halfway there. Holy shit. Big house fire over there. Wonder if I can see that up on the combine. But we're, I don't know, I'd say we're maybe a little less than halfway through. The biggest issue we're having right now is because I cultivated this all the rows are going, you know, side to side here. I did one row around the whole perimeter to kind of, you know, it's kind of a sacrificial row for the deer. And I'm glad I did that because they demolished that row. And if I hadn't done that, I think they would have been able to walk right up the row of corn and eat everything. And everything in the center here, aside from those outside rows, looked awesome. So I think next year though, if I could do 2 rows instead of 1 like you normally would, that's gonna be the way to go, only because there's a drop off over there right on the side of the field. So you gotta be real careful when you turn around there. There's enough room over there to spin around, but it's more so I can spin the combine around and come up the next pass. So, but that is where we're at. So we'll see if anything else happens. Over there, it's probably 3 or 4 passes, and then we're done with the field. I'm fairly impressed with how well this corn turned out. Granted, this is all fallow ground, so I mean, you know, they say if you're planting corn on fallow ground, you're gonna have a real good year, which seemed to be. We threw a good bit of fertilizer on it too, so that definitely helped as well. But see if I can straighten this row out here. There we go. I must have gotten too close. It's supposed to be like 2 end rows to the planter. Didn't want to feed through back there. All right. Figured I'd do a recap of harvest yesterday. We got the whole field done. I think we started at probably, I would say we started at noon, maybe a little later than that. I was getting ready to go at noon. We started late because I wanted the dew to dry off. That was in the field. And then we started to get going, I would say about noon, and then my buddy showed up with my gravity wagon that I let him borrow for his harvest. So by the time we got him unloaded, it was probably close to 12:30. But yeah, so started at 12:30, we'll call it, finished up by 4. Had a couple of hiccups. We had to patch the combine in a couple spots, sprung a leak, losing grain, but nothing crazy. I got to rebuild the bottom of the combine. It's pretty crusty. I was supposed to do that this summer, never got around to it, so that'll be a job for next summer. But Other than that, really no issues with the combine. I'm pretty impressed with how well that thing cleans grain for as old as it is. It's a 78. Now I'd say that thing cleans grain just about as good as anything new coming off the line now. So, really the only pain in the ass we ran into was bringing the combine home last night. It's probably, I would say, a 4-mile ride, if that, from the farm to the field. Doesn't sound like much, but you know, we're one town away from Newport, Rhode Island, and that's a pretty big town. So there's a lot of traffic, and they were not happy with us going down the main drag, but, you know, we got that combine down the road one time a year. I think they can deal with it. So, that corn tested 21% out of the field. So we loaded the hell out of one of the wagons so that we could put both my screw and aeration fans in it to help it dry down. I'm hoping by the end of the week we'll be close to 15%. I'm hoping. We'll see. I got it stuck in my buddy's greenhouse right now, so it's out of the weather. So hopefully that'll help it. But when we go to do the other field there that we have, the bigger field, hopefully, with any luck at all, we'll have this thing ready to go, because we're gonna have to dry that down with this. I've been half-ass fixing it up. You know, the guy I bought it from caught a low-hanging guide wire with it, so the screen was all, I've showed it in other videos, the screen on this thing was all bashed in, so I've been stitching it with mechanics wire. I've still got a ways to go. This is definitely the worst of it. I gotta start from the bottom here and go up before I finish the top. But the biggest issue with this is I gotta find a propane tank to run it. This thing runs on liquid propane, so finding a tank with a liquid withdrawal valve has been a pain in the ass. You know, and I guess they're pretty sought after, because every time I find one on Marketplace or Craigslist, it's gone before I can get up there to get it. So, and I could rent one, but the propane companies are not real keen on putting a, you know, propane tank in the middle of the field and all that. So I got to keep looking. That's kind of why I've been kind of dragging ass on this thing, because I just can't find a tank to run it. And I got to patch this auger up too, or this pan here, because it's got some holes in it. Not that that's a big deal or anything, but other than that, this thing should be ready to go. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. Combine ran good. Wagons all held together. So, and I got probably 10 guys beating down my door to buy corn. So hopefully that'll all be gone pretty quickly and we can move on to the other field. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.